fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the 5-in-1 Transform Robot from Dream On. This is just kind of like a weird knockoff Transformery type thing. I found this on Amazon.com. I was searching for Transformers, and this kept coming up in the search results, and it was only about 20 bucks, and it looked kind of fun, so I just decided to give it a shot. Every now and then you find some fun KOs, so I thought this looked kind of neat. Packaging's pretty basic. You have the Dream On logo up there, a company I've never heard of before. You have the picture of the 5-in-1 Combiner robot on this side, exact same picture on this side, and then on both of the sides of the boxes, you just have that 5-in-1 Transform Robot logo. So these are construction vehicles that transform into dinosaurs, and then all 5 of them combine into this robot you see here on the front. So kind of crazy, but let's check it out. I'll go ahead and get everything out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. Alright, so here are the 5 construction vehicles out of the packaging. You can see that they have this kind of consistent mustard yellow and forest green color scheme. And I will just preface this up front by saying that I am not really up on all of my different construction vehicles, so I don't know what a ton of these are. I'm assuming this first one is just kind of a generic dump truck. You can see it has a 01 painted in silver there, and then here it says Ankylosaurus, but it says Ankylosaurus, I guess, because they ran out of room. But that's also done in silver paint. They roll pretty well, which is nice. Not really a ton going on here. You have some decent paint applications. There weren't any stickers or anything like that to apply in this set, which is appreciated. Transformation into the Dino. You can see this is going to be the tail. We just flip that around like so. The little legs flip down underneath, and you have 4 of these. And then you have the large dino head. You kind of push this in, and this rotates around. And then I guess this is an Ankylosaurus. Yeah, the mouth doesn't open or anything, but you have some nice silver paint there for the eye. The arms rotate, I mean, as much as it takes to just transform them down. They don't really have any other kind of articulation. The tail can kind of move up and down again, really, just to transform it. And that's pretty much it. Yeah, so that's it for that guy. Next up, we have a cement mixer. This has this kind of like almost radiation looking symbol there, painted in silver on both sides of the drum. This one does not have a number or what kind of dinosaur it is. So there's not really any kind of consistency when it comes to them. I do kind of wish if one of them was going to have a number that all 5 would have a number, but only 1 and 3 have numbers, and also what kind of dinosaur they are. So no indication what kind of dinosaur this is, but I think you'll be able to tell in a moment. We will just flip the legs down. Transforms pretty much the same way as the last one. Tail flips out from the back, and then the head flips around from the front. And I believe this is supposed to be a Triceratops. Kind of looks more like a rhino, I'm going to be honest, but you have the 2 little horns up here. Again, nice silver paint for the eye. The tail I wish was a little bit further down, but because of the way it connects for the Combiner robot, you can't really do that. So, not the most successful dinosaur, but not terrible. We'll save the big guy for last because he's definitely the most exciting. So next up we have, I'm assuming, a bulldozer or a front loader. I'm not 100% sure what this is. They didn't really try to hide the dinosaur head very much on this one. You can see the silver eye painted right there. The mouth on this one does open and close, and it makes kind of a loud ratcheting sound that terrifies me every time I close it. Really just kind of sounds terrible. But this moves up and down here, as well as the head here can move. This one also has some nice rolling wheels. And to transform it into the dinosaur, all you do is raise the tail up, and that's it. I don't know what kind of dinosaur this is supposed to be. Again, doesn't have a number on it. Doesn't have any kind of indication on it what kind of dinosaur it is. One of the weaker ones, in my opinion. Not even really much to transform. Maybe because of the wheels, it's like a velociraptor because the tail's straight out. That's my only guess. I don't know. Over here, we have another construction vehicle that I am not super familiar with. But this has kind of this claw here on the front that you can see has a little bit of articulation. It can open and close, which is nice. Again, it does roll very well. We have some dino legs down here to flip out. And then we lift this section up and flip out the dino head. I really like this one a lot. I think this is supposed to be maybe like a Brontosaurus or something like that. But I like the little feet. I think they're pretty cool. I like the dino head. Again, I wish the mouth opened and closed, but it doesn't. And then you just kind of leave this tail straight back like that. So not too bad. So now we will move on to the big guy. He has number 03 painted on the side and says he is a Brachiosaurus. And you can see he got this really big neck. His mouth does open and close, which is awesome. I love the silver painted eye. You have some movement here at the neck. You have some movement here at the neck. This just kind of spins around side to side. And then you have this little bit of movement back here for the tail, as well as this movement right here. Otherwise, this just kind of rolls around on the wheels, the big treads there. So he doesn't have like individual dino feet or anything like that. But he's kind of cool. I like him. He's very big. Obviously, he's going to form the center of the combined robot. And I really like the head. I don't know why. I love the eyes. He looks so evil, so menacing. I love that his mouth can open and close, and you have a decent amount of articulation in the neck and head, which I think is pretty cool, as well as that. And that's a nice sounding ratchet, so I appreciate that. But yeah, this guy's kind of cool. They're all kind of neat. Like I said, I just kind of wish they had some kind of consistency if they wanted to put a number on them. I wish each individual, robot or vehicle, whatever you want to call it, was numbered. And if they wanted to print what kind of dinosaur on it, that would be nice as well. I just wish there was some kind of consistency in terms of that. Because I do like that this one has both of those, and he has it as well, but the other three do not, which is kind of a bummer. So let's go ahead. We will get into the combiner here. We'll start transforming these guys to form the individual limbs. So we're going to take these two that kind of transform pretty similarly. They're going to become the two legs, and we're going to basically just transform them back into their vehicle modes. And then you can actually lift this back section off here. You can kind of see where the seam is right there. You'll kind of lift that up. And then there's a little hinge. And then you'll bring this around, and these two little pegs will peg in there. I'm super terrified that these are eventually going to snap off, but we'll see how it holds up over time. They're just really, really thin. But you kind of just push that up, and then they peg in there. And I feel like it's putting stress on them, but we'll see how it goes. But you have kind of a nice heel back here, which I do appreciate. And then that's obviously going to be the connector point. So there is one of our legs. We're going to take this guy, transform him back into vehicle mode. And then we're going to do the exact same thing where this will lift up and then come around. And you can see this one actually has two sets of pegs. So these pegs will peg into those two peg holes, and these two pegs will peg into these two peg holes. And so we just kind of pop that in there. And I really hope I didn't break something, but every time it kind of terrifies me. But there we go. So there is our second leg. So the two legs are good to go. Next up, we have our two arms. Not really much to do for these. Honestly, you just kind of maybe put that at an angle you like. That's really it. There's not much to do for this one. Connection spots right under here, and that's pretty much it. For this guy, you're just going to flip up the dino legs. And that's pretty much it for him as well. Now, you might think that you're going to have this grabber claw be the arm, and I guess technically you could if you wanted to, but you can see it's going to really mess up where it connects. So that's going to go up there at the top, and then this dino head is going to kind of be the hand, I guess. So that's pretty much it. Those are your two arms. All right, next up we have the big guy, and this is actually kind of neat. So you're going to kind of swing this back, and you can see that these just kind of naturally fit into these little sections here. You want to kind of put the tail back. This is going to swivel all the way around, and then you're going to bend these at these joints here. You can see that there's a little slot right here, which is actually going to tab onto this thing right here. So we will bend that around, and then that will kind of click into place there, and that gives us our leg connector joint. Now, the packaging shows that you can do all kinds of different posability with it, like it has them having knee joints and everything. Once that's clicked into place, this really doesn't move at all. So if you really wanted to do some kind of knee joint, you would kind of have to not click that into place. So you could kind of do something, but it's really not much. I mean, you could kind of move the leg around like this if you want, but once you click this into place here, it's kind of locked in. So if you want to try to get any kind of movement out of the hips, like there's no out to the side movement at all, but if you wanted to try to utilize those knee joints, you'd have to unhook this first, and then you could kind of move it around a little bit. But that basically makes, you know, the thighs and then the knees. And the nice thing is this all connects with magnets, which is really cool because, one, that's a joint I don't have to worry about breaking. But also, you know, it makes it pretty firm, and I think that's kind of neat. So we're going to come around to this section, and you want to kind of put your two thumbs here because you want to push this down so that these little clips can be depressed. You can see them right there. This is going to swivel down. We're going to rotate out the robot head, and then we're going to rotate out the shoulder connections, again using magnets, as you can see right there, which is pretty cool. And then we're going to close this back up. Now with this, you have a couple options. Let me angle the camera up here a little bit. You can either put this all the way down if you just want to kind of store it back there. The directions kind of have it like over his shoulder, you know, kind of, and I think that's kind of hilarious. It's almost like he's got the dino head just hanging out over his shoulder, like, you know, two heads talking to each other. But you can do whatever you want. If you want to swivel it all the way down and just hide it on the back, you can do that. The tail, unfortunately, I wish it folded up a little bit better, but you're kind of just meant to have it hang down there. Now, if you really want, you can leave it out like he has a tail, but it's a little bit too short to be effective in my opinion, so I just try to tuck it under as much as possible. But there we go. There is our torso, which I think works pretty well. This came unclipped, so let's clip that back in. But yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I think that works pretty well. Head sculpt for the giant robot looks pretty good. Some nice green paint there for the eyes. But yeah, overall, I think he's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and bring the others back in here. See if I can get him to stand for a moment. So I'm just going to apologize ahead of time. It's probably going to be difficult to get this guy all in the shot at the same time because he's pretty tall. So you're just going to go ahead and pop the legs on. And it's kind of neat because as you start to pop them on, you'll feel the magnets grab. So you can hear that. And I mean, it's a pretty solid connection. You have to kind of pull it away to get the magnets to break. But yeah, it's a pretty nice, strong connection there. I don't know why this one keeps coming unclipped. Oh, there we go. I didn't have it snapped in all the way. Maybe that's why. Go ahead, magnet that in there. Let me rotate up a little bit. So basically how this works, you just kind of pop these in. Again, it's magnets, so they just magnet on there, which is kind of cool, but unfortunately it gives no posability whatsoever. So if you want posability, you have to kind of pull this off, and because it's there like an octagon, you kind of rotate it up, and then you can slide it back on. So you can get some posability out of the arms, but you just can't rotate it. You have to undo the magnet and then change it and then magnet it back on. So that's kind of cool. I mean, he's very tall. I would say he's at least a foot tall, maybe taller. I wish I had something. What would be good to do a size comparison? Here we go. Here's a Voyager class Starscream from Bumblebee. And you can see that he's about, I would say, halfway. Probably about half as tall with his wings and everything. So, I mean, this is a big guy. He's definitely quite huge. I think that's a lot of fun. I love how huge it is, and I love how well it stays together with those magnets. And I think overall, you know, you have a nice uniform color scheme. You have that kind of mustard yellow. You have the forest green. You have a little bit of silver there, especially like in the robot head. You have some gray and everything. So I think it's kind of cool. Like I said, doesn't have a ton of posability. Really, just those arms can kind of move around. I mean, like I said, because they're magnets, if you wanted to make it so he's like has his arm completely up, you could. And like I mentioned before, if you wanted to try to have this kind of thing be the arm, you could, but obviously just throws the proportions off. But I think it's kind of neat. I was not expecting it to have magnets, especially for the price point. So I feel like that's pretty good, pretty solid. And I have actually seen this thing on Amazon in a couple different color schemes. So if you don't love this color scheme, I think there's one that's all yellow. And then there might be a blue or something, or a different shade of blue. I'm not 100% sure about that, but I definitely have seen it in a couple different color schemes. But yeah, it's kind of cool. You definitely don't get those knee joints that it shows you on the packaging, which is kind of a bummer. But I don't know, just something about this is fun to me. I mean, it's construction vehicles that turn into dinosaurs that then merge into a giant robot. So it's just kind of kooky and zany, and I love it. I feel like for around 20 bucks is definitely worth the price. I mean, given how tall it is, and I feel like the plastic quality is fairly solid, so I'm pretty happy about that. The only thing I worry about are those two little connector joints down here in the feet, just because they seem like very small little pegs, and especially because kind of all the weight of the robot is on them. But knock on wood, so far so good. So we'll see how that holds on. I do kind of wish he had like proper hands as well. Not a big deal, especially for like a KO, but it would have been nice. Or even if just the mouths could open and close on both of the dinosaurs. Like over here, you got a pretty significant grabber claw hand, but you know, you don't really have anything with this. So I kind of wish there was something we could do for this hand over here. But yeah, otherwise he's kind of fun. I like him a lot. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.